Alright, last night had some games that could be full-on talks for 20 to 30 minutes by themselves, but the game that I was most intrigued to talk about real quick was the Wizards against the Pistons. And today I wanted to do something a little different where I share what I noticed in the game and some of the things that stood out to me as I was watching. First and foremost, we have to acknowledge that the Pistons were missing some significant players in this matchup that I think we could all agree would have made this game look completely different from the start. But with the guys that they had on the court, they were still able to get the job done in the end. And to me, there are so many factors that stand out, from Duren to the addition of Duncan Robinson and obviously Cade Cunningham. But most importantly in my mind has to be the defensive energy and effort that the Pistons brought. And I haven't watched many Pistons games at length this season to know whether or not if that's how the team is on a night-to-night basis, which I could only assume is really their identity in these games, and I think it's a large reason why they are sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference. Even players like Cade Cunningham you see putting in effort defensively to stop a drive, a post up, or just getting his hands in on the action. And we know that in this league, not many of your elite stars offensively are putting in that kind of effort on the other side of the ball. But it's also not even just defensively. The team brings so much energy and effort when on the court that it almost feels like it was tough for the Wizards to match that, which could also be guys like McCollum and Middleton who are aging, but to be honest, they look solid out there and provided some really good minutes throughout the entire game. Especially McCollum, who obviously finished with over 40 in the game, and Washington as a whole had some positives to take away from this game. But Cunningham was easily the most impressive player on the court, especially in a game that can be painted in such a negative way with how many missed shots he had. And I get that the storyline is going to be the most missed shots in a single game in NBA history, but there were maybe 3 or 4 shots that he missed and I considered it a bad shot. I know for a fact that one was at the end of the half, and some of these other shots where I instantly thought it wasn't the most ideal attempt were some of the ones that went in the most. And most of these misses in the game came down to the ball just simply taking one way it had out of the rim. And I would say that on any given night, majority of these balls fall, and this could have easily been a Cade Cunningham 60-point game, and 99% of those attempts were good shot selections. And lastly, I want to talk about Cam Whitmore, who had a good night if you're looking at just the box score. But for all the reasons I like the Pistons play on the court are the exact reasons I didn't like the Cam Whitmore minutes. To me, he gives no extra effort to rebound, find his guy, get back on defense, and especially not box out. On the court, it seems like if he isn't shooting the ball, then he isn't happy even when his teammates are scoring. And maybe I'm reading into the body language too much, but it's frustrating to see a player that talented but feel like he's mad that he didn't get to shoot or his teammates made a mistake. So Whitmore comes from the Rockets team, where I saw a ton of these same problems in the 2 early games with Reed Shepherd, where he's not finding his guy when a shot is up or giving low effort on defense. Now Whitmore did have sparks where him and Cade were kind of going back and forth, and after the monster dunks that can sort of get him going, but those are moments of like 5 to 8 minutes of his 30 that he's on the court. So I don't know if it's a Rockets thing that was established there, but once Reed emphasized just simply more effort, it didn't even lead to him getting more boards, he just saw more success on the court. That was a big thing that I noticed from the game that I wish Cam would have improved on with his minutes, because this is a guy that we saw getting limited minutes just 2 and 3 games ago. But those are the big takeaways apart from the game tying 3 or the missed game winner that everyone else is going to talk about. But you guys let me know down in the comments if you liked the video, if you agreed with what I took away from the game, and if you want more videos just like this every week.